Now, last time he saw us under construction, we said, hey, we'll be back, and we're sure the Hornets are going to be in the news between now and then. And we didn't do a show Sunday, but boy, have they been in the news today. I believe the term blockbuster trade was made. Now, I don't know about all that.
I don't know about all that.
Blockbuster, but that was the term I believe Sports Illustrated used to describe one of the trades made today about the Charlotte Hornets at the trade deadline. Let's just jump right in.
You know what, Kaiser, relative to the Charlotte Hornets, yes, it is. We can't go ahead and call it a blockbuster trade.
I guess. I mean, we traded away a pretty key piece here. So, three major things happened today at the trade line. The first thing was the news that Miles Bridges publicly came out or his agent came out and said that they were going to veto any trade offers made for Miles Bridges before the trade deadline. This really wasn't all that surprising because him vetoing, everyone knew that he had veto rights, but him doing so allowed him to keep his bird rights, or rather allow the Hornets to keep his bird rights, meaning that they are the only team that can go over the cap in order to pay him in the offseason, which pretty much means they're going to be the only team that can offer him the max. Now, there's a lot of conjecture with what that means. Some people see it as a show of loyalty from Miles Bridges because he has stated yesterday, hey, the Hornets were with me at my lowest time. And there's this idea that he probably wants to stay a Charlotte Hornet. But at the same time, this is really a pure financial move from Miles Bridges because only the Hornets can pay him the max. They're the only team that can offer him the max. No one else can. So essentially, I
don't know if you hear that truck beeping in the background, man.
It puts the Hornets in a tough spot because if they lowball him, well, he's just going to take his bird rights with him to whatever team is willing to. Now they won't be able to use those bird rights to re-sign him this season, but essentially he'll start anew. So, if you're the Hornets, how do you not pay Miles Bridges in the offseason?
The answer to that question is you pay Miles Bridges. That's probably your only choice, man. And the thing is, with the moves that the Hornets have made, for all intents and purposes, man, it looks like Kyle Lowry is headed towards a buyout, which is, ultimately going to help the cap situation. Gordon Hayward being gone is going to help the cap situation. So, now you're in position to have a pretty good set amount of cap money to spend. But when it comes to Miles Bridges and other potential free agents out there, it just makes sense at this point. It makes sense to pay Miles Bridges because, number one, you don't know who else you realistically can get for the money that you have. You know what I mean? Number two, he's kind of a part of your core at this point. He's only 24 years old. I don't think it's a bad investment to pay Miles Bridges a lot of money at this point. And we've mentioned the relationship with him and LaMelo Ball. So, all signs kind of point to, go ahead and pay this man. And not to mention the fact, the man has had back-to-back 40-point games. Not to overreact.
Yeah, man, it's funny. Like right before the trade deadline, Miles Bridges has literally the two best games of his career. He had never had a 40-point game before the other day. So,
and one more thing, man, he wants to be here. That's such an underrated characteristic when it comes to negotiations, man. If somebody wants to be here and a good player, make it happen.
I really do think that Miles Bridges thinks highly of the Charlotte Hornets for not turning their back on him. When he was going through his off-court stuff. And to be fair to the Charlotte Hornets, everyone talks about the culture and all kinds of bullshit. The Hornets have shown that to a detriment, they are loyal to their players when shit like that happens. They coddled Malik Monk for years, despite what Malik Monk says, and everyone thinks how we mishandled that situation. Malik Monk was doing that shit. I don't know. We don't know if it was either coke or heroin. It was one of the two.
Whatever you know that line 50 Cent says, whatever they said he did, he did.
Yeah, he was doing one of the two, and the Hornets could have cut him by the CBA. They could have been like, nah, bro, but no, they stuck with him. Same thing with, all the other Hornets with legal issues and with Miles Bridges. However, let's not discount the fact that they may not offer him max. And if they don't, let's say they offer him 26.
Right, which is what I think is about right, quite honestly.
And Phoenix says, we'll give you 28. That might now here's the thing. Rich Paul is Miles Bridges' agent.
Yeah.
And we know that a lot of times the players, I'm not going to say they don't have say, but a lot of times the players are not the ones that agree and disagree to these contracts.
They're not always in control of the negotiations, basically.
Exactly.
Right.
So I think it might come down to, hey, the Hornets are giving you 26, but Phoenix, Detroit, all these other teams are willing to pay more than the Charlotte Hornets are. What do you want to do, Miles? And as loyal as Miles may appear, this is the NBA.
Yeah.
It's a business. Nothing is promised. $2 million a year is $2 million a year. Over 4 years, that's $8 million. Would you turn down $8 million? Would you turn down $8 million right now? With someone, hey, man, here's $8 million. You turn that down?
I wouldn't turn down $800 right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't turn down $8 right now because I'm broke. So I'm just saying that we need to be prepared for that. And when people were like, hey, why are the Hornets trying to trade Miles Bridges? That's why. Because
they were scared of the negotiations this offseason.
Absolutely.
I get it.
They were afraid. There's still the possibility he might walk and we get nothing for him despite having stood by him. I don't think that will happen. I'm really hoping that the Hornets will offer like 26 and he's like, all right, good. We done. Let's play ball. And then we don't have to worry about that.
You know, we've heard different players say, oh, I really like being here. Oh, I want to stay here. You know, we've heard that before.
We've heard that so many times. Yeah.
And exactly. Then the negotiations come and then it's something different.
Jeremy Lin.
Kimball Walker. With that being said, I think the Hornets are in a better position financially, at least, to meet Miles Bridges. Now, again, I'm not saying give this dude $35-40 million. I'm not saying go that far, but you have some flexibility. If it comes down to $2 million, man, pay the dude 28. Okay, cool, whatever. Just make sure you lock him down, man. So at least the Hornets are in a better position than they have been historically. $30
million, man. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's steep for Miles, man. Look, dude, to have $30 million and $40 million on a roster.
I tell you this much: you will have almost $500 million tied up in two players on a 10-win team.
Yeah. Regardless of context, I'm like, man.
And to pay Miles the 30, you'll have to go over the cap. Something that Michael Jordan never did. In his time owning the Hornets was go over the cap to pay a player. So if you want to pay Miles,
let me be very clear about something. Speaking in context, he never should have. Okay, like there was not a roster or a player that called for being over the luxury tax.
Cap, right. Danny makes a good point here. 160 to 180 for 5 seasons. I would be okay with that. That's less than 30 mil per season. You come in under that. 5 seasons is good because I think that's a year longer. That would take him out longer than LaMelo Ball's contract. So you might be able to keep LaMelo in there. I don't know. That's going to be tough. I don't think Miles will get 30 million. He'll get close. That's what I'm.
The more we talk through it, man, the 28 kind of seems like the number that I think Miles and Rich Paul would want to hit. I think they should be happy with that.
And let's not forget, Miles Bridges essentially took a massive pay cut this past season.
Absolutely.
Massive. So I don't know if he's going to be like, okay, I really want to be here. I'll take 25. I don't know.
Now,
he's like, yeah.
Because I'm thinking to myself, like, look, man, I already took a pay cut once. I'm not going to do it again. So, yeah.
Yeah. Rich Paul, good point, Danny. Rich Paul is, Rich Paul.
And believe you me, they will play hardball this offseason.
I don't think it's gonna be easy as fans. Oh, now we can re-sign Miles Bridges. I don't know, man. It's
going to be dicey this
nothing
offseason.
Nothing would shock me. Nothing would shock me if they re-sign Miles. That wouldn't shock me. If he went to another team, then that wouldn't shock me either. So,
speaking of shocking, Kaza, let's transition here. Were you shocked at what we got back for PJ Washington? Did that shock you?
Okay, so actually, we'll get to PJ. Let's talk about the other trade first. The expected trade.
Right.
Everyone expected Gordon Hayward to be gone by the trade deadline because he's on an expiring contract. A lot of teams would want to take it. Although a report came out yesterday that the Hornets would be willing to re-sign him for a team-friendly deal, which I think he would have taken if a trade didn't occur. But a trade did happen today. Miles Bridges was traded to the Gordon Hayward was traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Davis Bertrand, Trey Mann, a second-round pick, and they added – I don't remember who they added at the end to make the salaries line up a little more. Somebody who will never wear a Hornets uniform. I'm certain. But that wasn't shocking. However, I will say this, that I don't know if that trade makes sense because we don't really dump off a lot of cap space. Davis Bertans is set to make $17 million through the end of this year, and then he's got a player option for next year to make $16 million. You're still going to be paying Davis Bertans. Now, he's better than JT Thor, but $16 million? Plus, I mean, we're looking at, we essentially, we saved, $8 million by trading Gordon Hayward?
Right. So when I looked at that trade, man, I got to be honest with you, man. I'm thinking to myself, God, OKC took a very good calculated risk with this trade. And here's what I mean by that. You know, if you can get Gordon Hayward to play, I don't know, 75% of the games he plays with OKC, if you can get him to do that, then OKC made off.
If you get 15 minutes a night from Gordon Hayward, you won that trade.
Because here's the thing. All those guys that they traded to us, them dudes ain't playing for OKC. They traded off a bunch of their trash to get a rotation guy at the very least. You understand what I'm saying? Regardless of injury history, right?
They're going to make the playoffs.
And on top of that, you get an expiring deal.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here looking at trade like, I don't really know what's really in that for us. Like, it comes across as we're going to do this more for Gordon than we're doing for us.
Yes.
It came across as a trade just to be making a trade. Like, conventional wisdom would tell you, well, just get something for him because, you know, you're just going to lose him in the offseason. Of course, you get the cap space, but at least get something for him. I said to you on the previous show, man, letting Gordon Hayward go at the end of the offseason and getting the cap space is going to be valuable with the upcoming CBA. I would have been fine if they let that ride. But this particular trade, I'm just like, I don't love it. Let me put it like that, man.
I think it's a good way to get a backup point guard in Trey Mann.
They did get that.
Hornets fans are high on, but let's be real here, Hornets fans. Hornets fans are high on anyone that does not wear a Hornets uniform and then suddenly wears one. Right? And then they'll be trash, and then they'll be like, well, man, we love Ish Smith. We love Ish Smith, right? Hey, Ish Smith is a good veteran signing. Now we hate him. He's gone. So, and Michick, you know, as Strickland said in the chat, he was a 2-time EuroLeague MVP, but he hadn't really panned out in the NBA, and I don't know if he's going to bring a whole lot to the Charlotte Hornets. I think Trey Mann, though, I think Mitch is like, we need a backup point guard. we don't want Gordon Hayward to be just sitting around here rotting away on the bench. And like Rodney said in the chat, I think they want to do right by Gordon. They sent him to a good team. His contract's up next year. Hell, the Hornets could resign him for peanuts in the offseason. He's an unrestricted free agent again. So yeah, I don't know if Minchuk will play the backup point guard. I don't know if Trey Mann is more of a 2, that doesn't leave a lot of space for him because we still have all the same 2 guards that we had before today, right? And I don't think Trey Mann is not leapfrogging.
And then you have one more who's going to crack the rotation. You got Seth Curry, who we haven't.
Oh, we haven't even talked about that yet. We haven't talked about that yet.
That's just going to add to the logjam. And Rodney brings up a good point, man. Don't be so surprised if they shocked Ish Smith, because let me tell you from my vantage point, this is just my personal opinion, man. I love what Ish Smith bought us his first go round in Charlotte, right?
Yes, last season, absolutely.
Last season, right?
Or last season, when he came in Montrezl, when he came over with Montrezl Harrell, yes, that's correct.
As it stands right now, man, he retired for a reason. Let me put it like that, okay? Ish Smith ain't the same guy he was the first time he came to Charlotte, man. You're at a disadvantage every time he's on the court because he's not going to stretch the floor. He's not a good defender. He's too small. You know what I mean? He's still quick, but he's not as quick as he was 2-3 years ago. So if they cut ties with Ish Smith, don't be so shocked. And if you notice the last couple of games, he's not even on the floor in the fourth quarter, man. For God's sake, they got Cody Martin starting at point guard over Ish Smith. That should tell you all you need to know right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I would expect Ish Smith's time as a Charlotte Hornets coming to an end. That's just I think that trade was more for Gordon Hayward and to just to get something for Gordon Hayward rather than lose him in free agency, even though they were willing to sign him to a team-friendly deal. I am surprised before we get to the other trade. Yeah.
I know what you're about to say, because I am too.
James Bouknight is still a Charlotte Hornet.
I'm surprised.
How he didn't get packaged up in a deal is beyond me. And what this means for James Bouknight moving forward, I have no idea. There is no room for him anywhere on the roster. He's got like 4 guards ahead of him in the rotation. So,
but not only that, Kaza, for him personally, I don't know what that means for him personally going forward, man. Because here's the thing: if there's no market for you right now, and you're rotting away on the bench, what does that mean for you in free agency going forward, man?
He's gonna have to have the Hornets might just waive him. I mean, they waived Kai Jones. Now Kai Jones was crazy,
lost his damn mind,
right? Yeah, but I mean, they're running out of room. They really have a guard overload, and I don't know. I don't know what that means for James Bouknight. Unfortunately, I hate the fact that didn't work out, and that's always going to be a miss on Mitch's record. Because we were all happy after that draft. We got Kai Jones and James. Oh my god! And nothing came out of that.
Right. Right. Little did we know we were drafting mental health issues. Well, I did.
No, you knew. Well, you knew it was Bouknight. You called it draft night.
I knew it was Bouknight.
But we didn't know what Kai. Kai could come. Actually, Kai should come back right now because I'm tired of.
Hey, listen, man. Look. Not to get too off track, but if they made that phone call in the summer, I would have zero problem with that, brother. So yeah. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I'd be like, oh, come on back, Kai Jones, because
just go to.
Hey, at least I was there was some. I'm watching a Toronto game and I was just sick of seeing something, and we never have to see it again. We never have to see PJ Washington playing the damn 5.
Oh my God! Thank you, Lord. Thank you, good Lord. I never have to see it again.
Not in a Hornets uniform. We never have to see PJ Washington at the 5 anymore.
Hey, Kaza, be careful what you wish for, man, because now they just put Grant Williams in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, who gonna play the 5 now? Now you got Nick Richards and.
Yeah, so you got
that's it. Nick Richards
and Nathan Mensah, who shouldn't be in the NBA, but
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, he's probably gonna be the backup. All them guys need to turn in their playbooks. I need to see JT Thor lined up, Mensa, Ish Schmidt, just hand them over to the coach.
Hey, Kaza, before you transition, man, I got a really quick question for you, man. A very highly respected NBA figure that I will not name stated, quote, Steve Clifford has done an amazing job with the bench that he's been dealt with this season. Most or all of those guys will not be in the NBA next year. What do you think about that statement?
I mean, that's real talk. Hornets fans hate Steve Clifford because the team's bad, but
right.
Let's keep it a buck. He got the worst deal in the NBA.
He got the worst luck ever, man.
Yeah, as far as, hey, man, please come coach our team because no one else. We fired the good coach because reasons.
And the guy we had, just basically gave us the finger and said, no, thank you.
And we couldn't get anybody else. Please come back, Steve Clifford. And then Steve Clifford.
But what we're not going to tell you is half your roster is actually not going to play. Like your starters are only going to play 26 minutes together. By the way,
fair, I'm sure Steve Clifford looked and he said, "Wow, I have LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges is pretty good. We just drafted this kid, Mark Williams. PG, he's probably thinking that's a roster I can work with. He had a worse roster in Orlando on paper.
Say that.
Yeah, I mean, he had a worse roster in Orlando a few years ago. Took them to the playoffs." Right? So he's probably like, okay, I'll be good. And then he gets here and then nobody plays. Gordon Hayward out for the season. LaMelo Ball out for the season. Miles Bridges fighting with his baby mama. So, I mean, and so he had to deal with that. So then we're like, okay, last season was a wash. This season is going to be better. Everyone's going to be healthy. We got a top 3 pick. Even though
the center's actually going to play. We got a center now.
Right. Oh, yeah. Man, Mark Williams looks good in – look where we're at.
Yeah.
Look where we're at. I don't think I will say this about Steve Clifford. The players, for some reason, don't really listen to him. They didn't listen to Borrego either.
That's what I was going to say. I agree with you, but we're talking about 2 coaches now. Like,
yeah.
Go ahead, man. I don't want to cut you off.
No. The same thing. I think we got the same train of thought here. We've campaigned for Mike Budenholzer, and I really think that he should be the guy. He should be. I don't want to see Mark Jackson. I don't want to see Darvin Ham because LeBron's going to fire him. I don't want to see these unproven retreads. You got a guy that is 2 years away from it, 3 years away from winning a championship.
Yeah.
He need a job.
Yeah.
Hire the guy. What are you doing?
All right. But we'll that'll be discussed at length soon enough, man.
Regardless, I'll feel bad for Steve Clifford when they fire him because he just got a raw deal.
Yeah.
You know who else got a raw deal?
Huh.
The Dallas Mavericks. Maybe not. Because for them, think about the way their team is constructed and what they're trying to do. PJ Washington is a great pickup for them.
He's a good fit for them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good fit. Yeah. And they gave us Seth Curry. Curry's coming home. We knew what Curry was coming. Maybe not the one we wanted.
Right. Right.
I have wanted Seth Curry a few years ago when he was a free agent, when he was only making $8 million a year.
Right.
And then we get Grant Williams and a first round pick that is said to be lightly protected.
Right. As far as getting a return of PJ Washington, does it get any better than that? Serious question. Like, seriously, does it get any better than that, man? I think the Mavericks got fleeced. Shut up, Rodney. We're not listening to you right now. But I like it from a couple of perspectives, man. Like, I think as far as on the talent level, PJ Washington's probably a bit more talented than Grant Williams is. However, maturity, the character, and the consistency that Grant Williams brings to the Hornets is sorely needed on this team, right? I think he's someone who can be a leader and a voice in the locker room. I think you're going to get a lot more consistency from Grant Williams. I think he brings the toughness. I think he's a better rebounder than PJ Washington. So I think we got a great deal out of it. Oh, and by the way, let's put a knockdown shooter on the team, which is probably needed on this team as well. We'll
How many times, Curry, didn't he just kill us like a few weeks ago? No, like, yeah.
Like he always does, but yeah.
Plus, this will go under the radar, but those two guys are from Charlotte.
No, then there's that.
And they grew up Hornets fans.
Right.
Do you think they like seeing the franchise like this? Because when they were Hornets fans, the Hornets were pretty good. So I think that they're going to come back and have a little bit of pride. Just a little bit of pride. Like, look, man, okay, we get to play for the team. How many professional athletes get to play for the team they rooted for growing up, right?
Right.
I mean, they're going to come back, and I think they're going to, and at this point in their career, they're both vets. They're going to inject something into this team that was not there before.
And you know, and not to be repetitive, man, we're talking about, you know, we're talking about high character guys too, man. These ain't knuckleheads, man. You understand what I'm saying? And this team needs a big dose and a big shot of maturity, not only just on the floor, but off the floor, man. You know, like Rodney's saying it, man. Dude, listen, Rodney, you joking, but I can't wait to that first call when Del Curry says,
No. Del Curry is one of the most professional people in the entire industry.
No doubt.
He's going to contain his excitement as best he can. He will. I know.
On camera, he will. Yes. Right. Yeah.
Well, until he hits that first three wearing a 30.
But no. Actually, Kaza, we both got it wrong. You know what's going to happen? Eric Collins is going to be the one that he's gonna express himself like Dale wants to.
Yeah.
But Eric Collins is going to actually be the one that's going to be expressive.
Okay, so this is a good question. Will Seth want to stay or play for a contender? I mean, everyone wants to play for a contender. I don't think Seth Curry is looking at his trade like, oh, man.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And the idea that the Hornets might not even play him, he's going to play the rest of the season. I know the season is a wash, but I don't think you can just let Seth Curry just sit for the next, 40 games or so.
Yeah.
Just because. Like, Seth Curry can still play. He's still a knockdown shooter. He'll be the best two that we've had in a while, right? I think he at least finishes the season here, and then they try and work out some deal to keep him, and then he may go somewhere else. Same for Grant Williams. I think that is going to come down to what do we see in this team, because there's a lot of potential with the Charlotte Hornets. You can't look at Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller and be like, no, there's nothing there. So
right.
I think
I don't have intel, obviously, but I think he finishes the season here. But I guess another question to really ask: does Seth Curry have that kind of leverage? I mean, I'm not no shade to Seth Curry whatsoever. Let me be very clear, but I don't know if Seth Curry has the leverage to say, you know what, I want to go play with whoever. I don't know if Seth Curry's that guy yet. With that being said, I think he finishes the season here. And like you said, Kaza, at the end of the season, we'll see. For all intents and purposes, we think this roster is on its way to turning over. We think they're, the Hornets really want to go make a splash in the offseason and really improve this team. So at that point, we'll see.
Seth Curry, I'll tell you this, he's going to have a bigger role here than he's had in a while at any other team, maybe since he left Philly. So that might bode well for him.
Oh my God, Kaza. Golden State has not been to Charlotte yet. Can you imagine when they come here?
Get tickets.
We might have to go to that one, bro.
Del Curry might have taken the night off for that one.
Yeah, for real, man. That's gonna be QC Fest. That's gonna be 704 Fest.
But here's the thing. Are you excited? Because I'm not.
About
these trades and all of it. I think everyone's just excited because, to be fair, this isn't even the most active the Hornets have been at the trade deadline in Mitch's tenure. It feels like it.
It feels like it. Right.
But it's not. The impact of these trades is greater than trades that he's made in the past few seasons. But we've had, a couple of years ago, we had 3 trades at the trade deadline. So.
All right. So let me tell you this, Kaza. Am I excited for this season? I mean, hell no. Like, I don't care if we win 20 games in a row. What is it going to do we're not making the playoffs this season. So for me, there's nothing really to look forward to. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
However, with the PJ Washington trade in particular, that one does excite me, man. Like I'm actually over the moon with that trade because I just think Grant Williams is such a perfect fit in what we need for this team. Now, the question remains, can we keep him long-term along with Seth Curry? I'll throw him in there too. That's the question that remains. But for the time being, man, I can't help but to be excited about that particular trade. The Gordon Hayward trade, that doesn't do a lot for me, quite honestly, man. It just doesn't. I mean, we got a backup point guard today. Oh, cool. We needed one of those. We got one. Whatever, cool. I don't think we got equal value for Gordon Hayward. I really don't. And I know people are going to, oh, man, he never plays. He makes too much money. He's always hurt. I get that. But as far as the production on the floor when he does play, I don't think we got equal return, quite honestly, man.
Yeah, I want to echo what Rodney says. These things excite me. These trades do not. They don't move the needle. Although I love the Dallas trade. PJ Washington for Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a first. Right. That's not even lottery protected.
I'll take that every day of the week, man.
Boy, talk about a haul, right? That's a great trade. But contextually, that doesn't do anything for me. I'm more excited to see how Brandon Miller is going to turn out. The kid is going to be a future star. That's obvious to anyone that got eyes can see. Wow, that guy is going to be really good.
Right.
And I'm really excited to see if they re-sign Miles Bridges. I mean, LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and Miles Bridges. That's a pretty good core, right?
I noticed who you didn't say.
He ain't coming back. Hey, I'm not gonna say he's not coming back. I've been watching NBA long as you have, about 40 years. I'm 40. I'll be 45 this year. Yeah. So I've been watching NBA. It's ever since Michael Jordan's rookie season. I remember someone saying, "Hey, man, that's Air Jordan." That's how long I've been watching this. If your big man has back problems, he'll never see significant time in the NBA again. Never. He just won't. I'm sorry. I wish I could add him as part of the core, but we haven't seen the guy in like 2 months now play anytime. And I mean, I just can't add him in good faith right now. In fact, I feel like the Hornets need to be looking for another solution at starting center. Mm-hmm. But I digress. I'm more excited about the things that were already in place for the Charlotte Hornets, not these new things. Now, if Seth Curry ends up staying here, I'll be excited because I feel like, Seth Curry at the 2 with Nick Smith Jr. backing him up, and then you got, the rest of your core. Man, that's potentially a very good team.
Yeah. I think, Mitch Kupchak, let me say this. Regardless of whether Mitch is here coming this offseason, I think he's put forth some good stepping stones for the offseason. Got a bit more assets back, got some tradable assets back, got some picks back. You know what I mean? So there's something there to work with in the offseason. I think my excitement will build toward the offseason. Granted, we get some vets on this team. Granted, we extend Miles. Granted, those things happen. I think that's when my excitement will really turn up for this team.
I'll be excited if they trade all these damn picks.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, man, I can't wait to see who we draft. No, don't draft nobody. Get down.
But they are. They're going to draft somebody.
Of course they will. But now you have, because especially if you re-sign Miles Bridges, you're not going to have a lot of capital to sign free agents, right?
Right.
But boy, draft picks, there's your capital right there. You might be able to steal someone in the offseason that you otherwise wouldn't have any chance at because you were able to give up a first round pick, particularly that 2027 pick, which is unprotected or protected in 2026. So, or 2025. So yeah, I feel like, the Hornets have the potential to make a lot of really, really good moves here and build around their core. What they did today does not really move the needle for me all that much, especially, like you said, for the rest of the season.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a wash. But see, we know you know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen.
It's coming. Just believe it, buddy.
The win streak's coming.
It's coming. Yep, it's coming.
I mean, we say this we've been saying this the last 5 years on Under Construction, and it's always been true. Hornets are going to go on some kind of win streak and start looking good before the end of the season.
Start giving us hope. Yep.
They've been at least a 500 team after the All-Star break in every season since James Borrego got hired and since.
And that even happened with Steve Clifford.
Yeah. That's absurd, right? So it's going to happen again this year, and we're going to get all excited, and then somebody's ankle's going to start acting up. You know?
But let me say this again, man, because I want to drive this point home. I can't say this enough, man. Grant Williams being on the Hornets bench, that excites me. It does. That excites me to no end. It's almost like night and day as far as I want to be very clear. I'm not talking about necessarily who's a better player. I want to be very clear about that. But as far as like player type, personality type, Grant Williams and PJ Washington are night and day. And I'll leave it at that. And Grant Williams is what the Hornets need as far as a personality type. And
I think PJ is what the Mavericks need. Someone said in the chat the Mavericks should have gone after PJ in free agency when they had the opportunity.
Well, they actually did. And which brings up an interesting symmetry here. Because everybody remembers this past offseason. Grant Williams was rumored to be signing with Charlotte in the offseason. Yeah. And PJ Washington was rumored to be signing with Dallas. So I think the two parties came together and said, hey, we have both of our parties want change. So let's make this happen right now. Worked out for both of us.
Yeah, Melo's ankle's magically gonna, trust me, they're gonna come back to life now. He's got new teammates. He's gonna be feeling like $1 million now and plus now he's gonna be the only person on the bench in street clothes since Gore Hayward gone. So he can't be all lonely. So I think we might see some Melo ball.
Which brings, but let's be real for a second. That does bring up an interesting question, man. If I'm the Hornets, how do I quote unquote handle LaMelo Ball at this point? Because do you want the guy to play at this point? Do you want to nurse his injury? Do you want him to play it safe at this point? Like how are we really handling LaMelo Ball at this point? Again, you're not going to the playoffs. Don't expect some magical 15 to 20 game winning streak or nothing like that. We're not playing for anything. To be quite frank with you, we're fighting for a lottery pick. So how do you handle your star?
We're not playing for anything, but players always play for something. I think that's right. And this is about to be the old man yelling at the cloud, but this is what's wrong with today's NBA.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, the guys we grew up watching would have played, regardless of the rest of the season. Yeah.
Because we're clearly seeing Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller don't give a damn about quote unquote what we're playing for. They want to win basketball. They want to win,
yeah.
Because you play, not to sound like my man, but hello, you play to win the game. You know what I mean? Like they're out there wanting to win, regardless of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think about the San Antonio Spurs because everyone seems to their history is very revisionist. Well, the Spurs tanked and it worked for them because they got Tim Duncan. But they forget that the end of that season, David Robinson came back. He actually came back and played, and they won a bunch of games. They ended up getting the first round pick anyway because David Robinson, maybe one of the toughest dudes in NBA history. Y'all ever seen that guy? I mean,
yeah. Not programmed to not play and sit out.
No, I mean, yeah, he was like, no, I'm gonna come back and play. If Dave Robinson was in the league today,
oh my God, man, please,
today,
man.
And meanwhile, like people crying about the 65 game rule. Shut up. As a fan, I do not want to hear any professional athletes crying about how much they need to play. It's the worst. It's the worst thing.
Because you got YouTube hosts who still got to go to work every damn day. So and we don't get to sit out. So
yeah, as far as LaMelo goes, if the team says, okay, we're just gonna, the season is a wash. Okay, fine. I guess I could deal with that, and I completely understand that. But I mean, I want to see LaMelo play. Like he makes the Hornets exciting. Right, I want to see him throw lobs to Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges. At least give me something. Like, especially if you're the superstar, if you're the face of the franchise, you got to be out there playing. I'm not saying you got to go out there and give 100% because obviously the season is over for the Hornets, but play, man. Something.
I mean, you're getting paid enough, man. You know what I mean? And suppose, and Mitch Kupchak, kind of spoke glowingly about how much LaMelo loves basketball and he wanted to find the court when he got drafted and he wanted to go play that night. Well, show us. Here's your opportunity, man. Show us who you are when things are bad. Not just when things are good. Who are you when things are going not so well? So this is a perfect opportunity for LaMelo Ball to show us where we at.
This is a great point. I need to see LaMelo, Bridges, and this version of Miller on the floor together. Yes, because that will get me excited for next season.
No doubt.
If I see those three play together, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Then, then we'll
because it's pretty obvious that it's their show going forward now. It's obvious.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people don't realize this. This is LaMelo Ball's 6th season as a professional basketball player. Remember, he played 2 seasons, or played a season in Lithuania and a season in Australia. So it's not like, people are like, oh, he's only 22. No. He's played professional basketball before. He's been playing pro ball since he was a teenager. I think that was one of the reasons why the Hornets drafted him, because he already had that pro readiness to him. So, and this is a good point. 24 Mil seems to want to be the leader, while Melo seems to want to be the face of the franchise. 2 totally different things.
Very different, absolutely. You know what? And I could see it working out that way. I could see LaMelo being the marketable guy, the cool guy, the one with the commercials and the sneakers, while Brandon Miller's the one getting it done on the court. He's the one hitting the big shots.
So there's this debate in the Hornets forum about why does it matter who's better between LaMelo. I'll tell you why it matters.
Because it matters to the players.
Exactly.
You can stop it right there.
Until you figure that out, look, Minnesota Timberwolves. Remember, they needed to figure out whether it was Cat's team or Anthony Edwards' team. And it was clear that Edwards wanted to be
the guy.
And remember, there were trade rumors. Carlton Towns might get traded. He's requesting a trade. They figured that out. Now look at them. They're one of the best teams in the league. That's Anthony Edwards' team, right? And Cat he's still balling. Look at the Boston Celtics. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
You got to figure out who is the guy, who is the leader. The last time the Hornets had this problem, remember what happened? Lonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson. Yep. They couldn't figure it out. We broke up a perennial playoff team because those two guys couldn't figure it out.
And Kaz, let me give you an example of why this is important on the basketball court. Let's rewind to last night's game. Miles Bridges is going off, right? 40-something points, man. He's what the kids say, in his bag and hitting all these crazy shots, right? And in the fourth quarter, you know what happened? The ball stopped moving because Miles Bridges was like, "This is my team. I'm the one that should be taking all the shots in the fourth quarter." What happened? You got Brandon Miller standing wide open in the corner while you're shooting fadeaway threes, buddy.
The
We
best
appreciate your
three-point shooting
45
rookie
points.
in the league right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But because you don't have defined roles, you have a guy who's probably not the guy taking crazy shots and not playing winning basketball. So that's why you need to determine who's the real guy on the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm hoping the Hornets can figure that out. Having Grant Williams and Seth Curry as vets, I think will help. I really hope that, I mean, Grant Williams is on a contract, so he's here at least through next season. I'm hoping in the offseason, like, they really, first of all, I'd love if they got Bud as the coach and, he put him through the ringer and the Hornets hammer some things out. There's potential there, but, there was potential there before these trades. I want to make that very clear because the narrative that you were going to hear is that these new owners aren't playing around. These new owners are like Mitch wasn't there before,
Right.
Now Mitch is not handcuffed by Michael Jordan, boy,
that narrative is coming.
We said this was going to happen, right? But those things were already set in motion before these trades today. These trades today just, I think, solidified the plan. We knew Gordon Hayward was going to get traded. That wasn't like a big surprise.
They were trying to trade Terry last year.
Right. We said last year Terry was going to get traded. Terry getting traded is not a surprise. There was speculation that PJ Washington. In fact, I don't know if Jonathan Goldsmith is watching. My boy JG is watching. We were on the phone today. And I was like, man, you know what we need to do? We need to trade PJ's ass. And he was like, absolutely. We need to trade PJ. And as soon as I hit ESPN.com, boom, Hornets trade PJ Washington. It was like we spoke it into existence.
Well, I don't know if you remember our private chat last night. Rodney, Rodney, and Danny have a chat, and ask Rodney what I said last night. It's almost like we knew PJ Washington was going to be out of here today, and
yeah, voila. I mean, like I said, I think these things are they just solidify the plan that was already set in motion. The owners did not come in.
No, Kaza, no. Michael Jordan and Mitch Kupchak never had a plan. You're crazy.
I'm just gonna. It's funny. No fan has told me who gets credit for drafting Brandon Miller. Who was that? Because people that wanted Scoot was like, man, that's Jordan's last mess up before he left. But I mean, I don't know. Like who we giving credit for that? Right. Let me talk about Mike Budd real quick. So there is a narrative that he is overrated. But when I look at all the available coaches in the league, I think he is your top free agent.
Yeah.
Definitely more so than Mark Jackson, Darvin Ham, who will probably be looking for a job this season, Kenny Atkinson, Mike D'Antoni. I mean, like, I think that what he can bring is the kind of basketball the Charlotte Hornets need to play. And I think the players will listen to him. I mean, I guess his only fault was that he let Thanasis Tuna Makupo on the team because that was Giannis's brother, so. But, I think that he'd be a big upgrade over Steve Clifford and compared to the other coaches that are available. Like, it will really hurt my heart, like, if we, hired Mark Jackson. And not that I don't think that Mike Jackson would be a good coach, but I don't think he's a big upgrade over Steve Clifford.
I'm going to put this bug in here, man. Don't be surprised. And, again, man, we'll have these discussions closer to the offseason and, ultimately when Steve Clifford's not the coach anymore, but – What if they bring Steve back? How you gonna feel? I won't feel any kind of way. Quite honestly, I'd be a little disappointed. I would just be like, whatever, man.
I mean, no. The owners, they make all the trades. The owners,
right? The Charlotte Hornets have never had a GM ever.
It was Jordan. Then Jordan's gone. The new owners came in. So okay, trade everybody. Right. That's what we did. Mitch was like, "Oh, okay, all right."
Rich Troll never existed. Mitch Kupchak really
No.
don't do anything. It's all owners, man.
It was Jordan. Well, before when it was Bob Johnson owning the team, it was Jordan then. Okay, Jordan bought the team, then it was still Jordan. Now it's the hedge fund guys. Right. You know, they're basketball savants. They know everything. What an exciting day. I'll admit this was the most exciting trade deadline for the Charlotte Hornets in a few years, just because of, like I said, the impact of those trades, the PG Washington trade. And I don't feel like we really got fleeced. I don't think we got fleeced or lost the Gordon Hayward trade. I just don't think that trade really did anything for us.
I just simply wish we would have got a little more, honestly, man. Yeah. Again, man, it's one of those trades that just it looks more so like, hey, let's help Gordon Hayward out. That's
exactly.
Like
I feel you. I feel the same way. Like, there you go. As if we weren't already helping him out by paying him $30 million, you know, to rock an Adidas tracksuit on the bench. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Gordon be clean, boy.
I mean,
his fits be clean.
Be looking, like, okay.
We got the fresh jackets, man. Man.
When you make $30 million, you can look clean as hell.
I do. Clean, boy. Man. Bench fashion never looks so better, bro.
He's looking better than Jordan on the bench. Jordan,
know, you know what I'm saying?
Like, damn, bro.
Hey, Gordon looked like a rich black guy on the bench.
I think he had a Cuban link on the other game. I was like, damn, man, got the Cuban link on, had the Rolex. Like, okay. My God. Oh, well, hey, safe travel. Yeah, hey, Gordon Hayward looks like the white guy from Barbershop. That's good. Yeah, if Gordon Hayward does not go to a white barber, I guarantee that.
I guarantee that.
We go to the same barber, Borrego. We never found out who James Borrego barber was, but it's probably the same dude.
I bet you it's off of Eastway somewhere too, man. I bet you it's somewhere sketchy too, bro.
It's like Farm Pond Road. I used to go to the barber on Farm Pond Road. It was mad sketchy. I think that's who we go to too. Like
Farm Pond, damn. That's Albemarle Road for those non-Charlotte teams.
That's East. That's real East Charlotte right there.
That's real East Charlotte. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. It's been a fun day. Thanks, y'all, for joining us on this Off the Cuff.
You got shout-outs? Shout-outs?
Who am I shouting?
I got two shout-outs, man.
Okay,
go ahead. Two shout-outs.
Go ahead.
Shout out to the UNC 49ers, who are having a very good season, man. They're getting the fan base behind them. People are coming to games. It is nice to have one good basketball team in Charlotte. Shout out to the UNC 49ers. Shout out to Julius Peppers. Since we have been on, I don't know whether this is official or not. Somebody can help me out if it is or not. But we will find out today whether he's going to make the Hall of Fame first ballot, which I think he should.
All right.
Right. I think we all think he should. I don't know if it's official or not, but if it's not, we're going to speak it into existence. I'm going to say congratulations in advance to Julius Peppers on the Hall of Fame nod, man. So that's it for me.
I think
one more thing. Ethan, thank you. Swag, thank you for that. Another shout at and double middle finger to this fat bastard Warren Sapp, who is continuously triggered by whatever Cam Newton says. Like, Cam been triggering Warren Sapp for like 10 years, man. Like, what's really going on?
Did they even ever play against each other?
No, they didn't. Yeah, Warren Sapp was retired in 2007.
Yeah, Warren Sapp. Here's the thing about my shout out was going to be at Cam Newton haters. So I have a lot of friends who are San Francisco 49ers fans, and we have said on this show that when the 49ers win the championship, I was going to make the under construction banner page Christian McCaffrey and Steve Wilkes holding up the Lombardi trophy, right? So I'm sticking to that. They're still my pick, and I'm rooting for the 49ers. But having said that, Cam Newton knows more about playing the quarterback position than literally anyone. You know, I know, 99.99999% of the people in the world. And okay, so and here's the thing. He didn't disrespect Brock Purdy. He wasn't like, man, Brock Purdy trash. He said he wasn't a game changer. He was a game manager. He's probably the 10th best person on his team, which is absolutely 100% true, right?
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. So, but now everyone's coming out of the woodwork hating on Cam. And Cam made a statement a few days ago that, you know, he's not even looking to get back into football. He's not a football player now. He's a YouTuber. And if you look at his YouTube channel, I'll give Cam this. He worked hard to make his YouTube channel. It's huge, right? He's got almost 500,000 subscribers now. He'll probably be at 1 million before 4 years in. And, you know, he's making YouTube money. He's an entertainer and an icon. And everyone, but the thing is now that he's not playing, people feel like it's easier to hate on him.
Right.
Particularly Panthers fans. I was in a Panthers group and somebody tried to argue me that Jake Delhomme was better than Cam Newton.
I don't even have time for that.
Now, I didn't argue with him because here's the thing. I loved Jake Delhomme. Loved him. And he's one of my favorite Panthers of all time. The way and just the way that the way he came into the league, you know, backup Rodney Peete comes in, game-winning drive, touchdown, and then he had a great career. As far as being the Panthers franchise quarterback at that time. But in no way, shape, or form is he better than Cam Newton at playing quarterback in the NFL. There's just right. But it's funny because when Cam Newton was Cam, when he was dabbing and the Panthers were 15-1 and it looked like we was going to win the Super Bowl, maybe be the best team to ever win the Super Bowl. Oh, everyone loved Cam. That Cam had no haters in Pantherland, none. And then now it's like, well, you know, he didn't jump on a fumble, and all he cares about is his clothes and his YouTube channel. And Jake Delhomme was better, and it's like, man,
hey, man, people are hot and cold, man. That's all I can say, bro.
Keep doing what you're doing, Cam.
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep pissing people off because they ain't doing nothing but helping your clicks and views. Me and Kaz are gonna start pissing some people off, man. Maybe we should start talking about Warren Sapp.
Willie said it. I didn't say it. I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna say that. But
hey, I'm gonna go ahead and plead the fifth on that one.
I'm pleading the fifth. F-150 crowd. On that note, yeah, we will see y'all Sunday. Actually, Sunday's the Super Bowl. We doing a show on the Super Bowl?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
All right, fuck it, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll watch Kermit the Frog go win another. Even though, like I said, I'm rooting for the 49ers. What's your pick? So my thing is, I guess I gotta pick the 49ers because I've been riding with them all season. But
you know what? I want the 49ers to win probably for the same reasons you do. But I can't pick against Kansas City right now. I'm gonna tell you why real quick, man. You remember we had this conversation about the hot teams going into the playoffs?
Yep.
The Kansas City Chiefs, man, that defense is when they've been trending upwards ever since like week 16 of the season. And they're playing they're playing like as well as they can play right now.
They remind me of the Broncos team that beat the Panthers. Not in that the defense is that historically good, but that Broncos team, every game in the playoffs, they weren't supposed to win. They had no business beating Tom Brady, and they had no business beating the Carolina Panthers, but they dominated both those teams.
Which brings you to a good point, man. They've passed every test. You beat Lamar Jackson on the road. You beat Josh Allen on the road. You damn sure going to trust Patrick Mahomes. You can't say enough about that dude. So if you got him in a good defense, I'm sorry, man.
And the Chiefs, I believe, are 3-point underdogs as of
they are.
now.
Yeah, it's a two and a half dogs, I believe. Yeah.
And you know Andy Reid's they're gonna play that underdog. They're embracing that underdog role because very rarely are they the underdogs, the Kansas City Chiefs. So they're going to embrace that, and they're going to want to make a statement about Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
That they're gonna come out and that's gonna be their mission. We're gonna show. We're gonna show. And 49ers fans, I love y'all, but somebody said I don't really see that much of a difference between Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes.
On that note,
we out. Y'all enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll see y'all.
I have no words for that statement. Kyle, I'll see you Sunday, man.
Yeah, man. Y'all take care. Buzz City, we back. The new owners, baby.
It's all right to be a Hornets fan again. Peace out, y'all.